Hey guys, what's up? It's Zyflin here, and today we're going to be learning how to play Ivara in Warframe. You can play Ivara in a multitude of different ways. So for example, you can play her as the Infiltrator, so we'll be using her mainly for spy missions, getting through the lasers and whatnot. You can use her for stealth and widespread CC by using her Sleep Arrows and her Stealth Arrow, or you can build her as a damage dealer with Artemis Bow, and I'm going to show you those three play styles, or at least the builds and whatnot in this video. So to begin with, I guess we'll start with our Stealth Ivara. So I do actually have two Ivaras because I made an Umbral build for my my Artemis Bow Ivara, right? Because I just wanted that little bit of extra damage from Umbral Intensify, and I needed a lot of Forma, and I didn't want to mess up my stealth builds, so I just went ahead and, got myself a second Ivara to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to be pretty pissy whenever Ivara Prime comes out, but that's besides the point. So let's talk about the stealth options that we have first, right? So I'm not going to be able to demonstrate the infiltration build in the simulacrum, but this is a little bit of what it looks like, right? So we have a lot of duration on there in the form of prank continuity, constitution, narrow-minded, and all that good stuff, paired with the infiltrate mod. And if you don't know what that does, it basically makes it so you can bypass lasers and you get a little bit more movement speed in Prowl, right? So usually this ability would slow you down a lot, but with this augment, you're just that little bit faster. You can't sprint whenever you're using that ability, but you can roll. So what I like to do is just spam roll for the lasers and whatnot. So, it makes it just that little bit more bearable. It's probably one of the reasons that I don't like using Ivara for spam missions and stuff, because you can't sprint and you can't be super agile and fast, and that's how I play the game. I like sprinting through a mission with Loki and using lightning dash to bullet jump around the place and all that good stuff. So it's not personally my playstyle, but I can definitely understand if someone wanted to use infiltrate because they don't know all the spy vaults yet, or they just want to be lazy whenever it comes to spy. That's totally fine. I threw on a little bit of range here to, make the arrows still usable, right? So the first ability. So you're still going to be able to use Cloak Arrow decently. You got a 27-second duration on that. So let's say you want to conserve some of your energy while you're hacking a console. All you have to do is go ahead, shoot out a stealth arrow, and then drop out of your your third ability Prowl, and then you stand in this bubble and then hack the console in there. So just making it so that ability is usable by giving it a little bit of range, and obviously because we're already modding for duration, then that's totally fine. You can also use your sleep arrow as well for some decent CC. So overall, it's just a nice build that's going to let you do spy missions with a lot of ease, right? So Streamline and Fleeting are also on here because, Infiltrate or Prowl is a rate over time ability, right? So you want to get the as low as possible, the energy per second as low as possible. So I'm pretty sure we achieved that with this, but let's go ahead and do a double check real quick. So Prowl is 0.25. That's super low anyway. And if we go ahead and we throw on a max rank Streamline, let's see if we go any lower. Let's check it out. It's still 0.25. What we could do is do a max rank Streamline, and let's go with 2 from the top Fleeting. See if that changes anything. Still 0.25. So you could achieve that with a maxed out Streamline and a 2 from the top Fleeting. That way you're going to have a little bit extra duration on all of your other abilities as well. So that's important to note too. That's mainly because of how much duration we have on. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the CC build. Now, this is just straight up pure range, duration, and a little bit of efficiency on there. No defensive mods because you're going to be invisible, you're going to be CCing enemies, and it's all based around the first ability, using all the different arrows to put enemies to sleep and to keep yourself invisible, right? So you've got your Cloak Arrow, which is the purple one, which you swap between by just tapping your one. I don't know how to do it on consoles because I don't have Ivara on consoles, but you just tap your one, and then you hold it down to cast it. You can see the big bubble that we make. And then what you can do is you can use your noise arrow, which is the red one, to attract enemies to certain positions, right? So we shoot that, and then our heavy gunner boy over here is just going to keep on walking towards where we shoot our noise arrow, right? So you can get him close, and then you can use your sleep arrow to put him to sleep, right? So what you can effectively do is in an interception mission, right? You can use Prowl, you can use your cloak arrow to stay invisible, and then walk around, get a bunch of enemies gripped up with your noise arrow, and then just put them all asleep with your sleep arrow, and then just keep them in a constant loop of sleeping, because you can see the duration on there, right? So all you have to do is recast it whenever it runs out, right? So what we would do, let's go ahead, get our energy, put down our stealth arrow, we'll spawn in 20 heavy gunners, like so. Awesome. Get our noise arrow, cast it, and all the enemies will just start walking subconsciously towards it. And because like they're not alerted or anything, they're just gonna stand there. They're not gonna shoot any weapons, they're not gonna do anything. And then you just hit them with the big sleep. I wish I could fall asleep that easy, but you know, there you go. So that all being said, that is your stealth builds and your crowd control builds with Ivara. Moving on to the Umbral Artemis bow build, which I mean, I'll show you the build for Artemis bow first. So this is a prime beam build. So I got my Serration, Split Chamber, 100 munitions because it's crit, Point Strike, Vital Sense, Elemental Combo. I'm using Viral on here because I like the Viral proc, which happens quite often because we have 66.8% status chance. And then Prime Beam if Corrupted because of the slash procs on 100 munitions. These are going to be double dipped by the 55% bonus on this mod, right? So awesome, huge overall damage. No fire rate mods on here because you don't necessarily have to keep it fully charged to get the full amount of damage out of it, right? So we're going to go ahead and pause the AI whenever we're testing out Artemis bow because you don't get a damage bonus towards these guys whenever they're paused with bow and arrows, right? So let's go ahead and change up the colors of my Paris Prime because it's triggering me a little bit that they're not the same colors because I'm that guy. I know, I should stop. I get it. But yeah, Artemis bow. That's the build, I already showed it. But moving on to Ivara. So Umbral Intensify for damage, Blime Rage for damage, Transient Fortitude for damage. Well, I say damage, it's more Pyre Strike. So these 4 mods, including Pyre Drift, these ones, for your Pyre Strength to up the base damage of Artemis bow. Fleeing Expertise and Streamline for the efficiency, because you're definitely going to need it because of the Blime Rage. I've got a 1 from the top fleeing on here because I couldn't fit on a maxed out one. We got this Empowered Quiver Mod. And this is going to allow Dash Wire to give you a critical damage bonus. Now, this slot right here, you can run either of the augments, right? You can either run Concentrated Arrow, which I'm going to show first because it's an explosion on headshot, which is going to affect a lot of enemies. So I'm going to have these guys all, lined up, and you're going to see the amount of damage we can deal with that. And then you have, of course, Empowered Quiver, which is, in my opinion, a lot better than Concentrated Arrow because Concentrated Arrow, you 110% have to be getting headshots. You should be going for headshots anyway with crit weapons because of the damage bonus that you get. But just having the option to kind of go for body shots and be a little bit more lazy with your aim, in my opinion, is a lot more viable with Empowered Quiver. On top of that, you also have the other bonus as well. Cloak Arrow has 100% chance to prevent status effects. So, I mean, you're still going to have a pretty nice duration on your Cloak Arrow, I think. Actually, never mind, you're not. I haven't modded for duration at all in here. I don't know, I must be thinking of a different build. Yeah, I'm not that thinking about a Transient plus Fleeing. Duh, Flynn. 1 derp per video. But yeah, your Arcanes, you could run, what's it called? Is it this one? Critical hits, melee damage, Avenger? I forget. There has to be one that's critical chance... on damage, critical chance. Nah, I don't think there is. I forget. Melee damage. There must be one that ups like critical damage or something somewhere. I forget maybe. But yeah, it's fine. Wait, hold on. What was Avenger? Why didn't it show me? Come on, Flynn. Critical chance. Nah. Okay, so, I mean, you can run whatever you want on here. Grace Guardian is what I would go for. Just because Ivara is naturally a squishy frame, and I want to take as much as I can get, really. Maybe Energize if you wanted to, but, I mean... you consume energy per shot with Artemis bow. So, It's down to you. I think Energize would be a really, really good pick on here, but I just don't have an Arcane Energize set. I've never really needed to use it because I have the likes of Energizing Dash and Energy Pads, right? But then again, I've been told by people who do have Energize that having an Energize set, at least one, changes the game entirely, so it's down to you. But let's go ahead and jump into showing Concentrated Arrow, because why not? The rest of the build, Umbral Vitality is there to buff up the stats of Umbral Intensify, and obviously just for a little bit of effective HP. Streamline is on there. Well, Streamline Fleeting for the what's it called? The efficiency, and then Cruise Projection on there for the more overall damage, right? So let's try it out, shall we? Let's get our energy. And then take a look at our abilities as well. It costs us 30 energy to cast Artemis Bow. So I wonder how much that is per shot. Doo-doo. Let's go ahead and try it out though. Aim at the boy's head. So it's not too much, but you can see that we straight up just one shot at that guy. And it also deals damage to surrounding enemies as well. Even though it doesn't seem like it did much with that one shot. Maybe we got a little bit unlucky. So there you go. We got a little bit more that time in terms of the damage. So the reason that the slash procs are dealing so much is because, like I said, that beam mod that we had on. If you don't have that beam mod equipped, then those slash procs aren't going to be nearly as deadly. And those slash procs are a pretty big reason as to why this is such a damaging build. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they go to the likes of Warframe Builder and they'll look up like Artemis Bow, or they'll look up, you know, let's say for example a rifle, and they will put together a Hunter Munitions, a beam mod, or if they're going for secondaries, expel mod build. Because Warframe Builder doesn't actually take the status procs into consideration, they see that it's lower DPS compared to something like an Augur Pact build or an extra element or hammer shot or whatever, and it's just kind of you know, they leave with a misinformed view on damage, I guess, so, or builds at least. So meh, that's a little bit of info for you. Of course, it is a little bit inconsistent. You're not always going to get the slash procs. You're not always going to one-shot. But it's still really, really damaging, right? So it's more along the lines of burst DPS. Like, I'm not going full-on just letting rip on these guys. If I were to do that, I would just be tapping it. I wouldn't be fully charging because, like I said, you don't have to fully charge with Artemis Bow, right? So let's go ahead and spawn these guys in. And you'll see what I mean, right? If we just tap on the guy's head, implying we get the headshots, of course, that's important. You see that we kill a lot more, a lot faster, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Just because I'm demonstrating it super slowly does not mean that you have to play super slowly, okay? So, but like I said, you do have to be getting the headshots with this for that to proc. But then if you were to swap it out for the other augment, Empowered Quiver, it's a lot different. You just have to kind of angle your dash wire arrows correctly. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Spawn in heavy gunners. Whoop whoop. Cool. Awesome. These guys are level 160, by the way, and there's no damage buff from these guys being paused. So what you want to be doing is you want to be shooting your dash wire arrow, so then you are kind of level with the enemy's heads, right? Because you want to be getting headshots. And again, you don't have to fully charge it, okay? So you can shoot it like this and kill them like that. Okay, so that's one shot. We killed two guys. Awesome. Cool. Do the same thing again. I don't think we got any viral procs that time, which is unfortunate. But there you go. Those guys are dead. You can charge it up like that and make it horizontal. But I prefer the vertical whenever I'm just kind of firing down an alleyway or something. But if you're up close, just like shotgun it like that. And then use the horizontal to one shot. Yada, yada, yada. But of course, you have to be on that dash wire arrow to get that that buff, right? So you can see it in the top right hand corner, 321% bonus critical damage, which is awesome. Okay, so that is Ivara. She is really, really insane. I prefer the Artemis Bow builds opposed to the stealth builds because, like I said, I like playing fast whenever it comes to stealth. The CC is great for the likes of what's it called? Interception. I love Ivara and intercept. Can't speak. I love Ivara and interception, but then again, Equinox also exists and does more or less the same thing with the sleeping. But you can also use her in hunting, but again, Equinox. So Equinox is just kind of insane and does a lot of things that other frames do, which is kind of unfair. But yeah, other than that, that is how to play Ivara. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.